Have you felt for a long time that something inside you is watching? It doesn't speak, doesn't ask for anything, it just exists. It's like there's someone else living inside you, someone who appears in your dreams, looks at you from the mirror, whispers decisions to you that you later reject. It's not a monster, it's not a demon. It's you, the version of yourself you don't even tell yourself about. Everything you've ever rejected has become part of your shadow. And the shadow never dies. It waits. And at the most crucial moment, it steps onto the stage wearing your mask. And that's what scares you the most. Sometimes it's the shadow that runs your life. By the end of this video, you'll understand how the power you've hidden in the shadows your whole life can become the source of true transformation. Imagine a little boy. He's 7 years old. He comes home from school, clutching a drawing in his hand. There's a dragon in the drawing. It's breathing fire, fighting, protecting. It was his favorite class. He happily shows the drawing to his mom, but she laughs. "You're drawing your monsters again. That's not normal." She turns away. The boy clenches the paper, tears it up, and throws it away. He didn't just throw away a piece of paper. He threw away a part of himself. That's how a shadow is born. In that moment when your truth isn't allowed to exist. Now be honest, how many times have you torn up your own drawing? How many times have you choked down your anger when you were humiliated? How many times have you said yes when inside you were screaming, "No"? Every one of those moments is a brick in the wall behind which you hide everything that doesn't fit the picture of your perfect self. And behind that wall, your shadow lives. You're afraid to seem weak, so you hide your pain. You're afraid of being rejected, so you hide your desires. You're afraid of being aggressive, so you hide your strength. But it doesn't go away, it builds up and then explodes unexpectedly. You yell at someone you love, sabotage the very things you wanted. You run from success when it's almost within your grasp. It's not just nerves, it's sabotage from within. The shadow is not your enemy. It's the archive of your true power. But you've locked it away, and now it seeps through the cracks, through your dreams, your choices, your recurring pain. And the more you pretend it doesn't exist, the more precisely it writes your story. The shadow isn't evil. It's not your dark side from a superhero movie. It's a graveyard of the versions of yourself you once rejected. They're all real. You just labeled them as unacceptable. Imagine you're a huge house. There are hundreds of rooms inside, but since childhood, you've only been allowed to use 3 of them. The rest are locked, boarded up, gathering dust. And every time you got angry, jealous, dreamed, shouted, or cried, you locked another door. But those rooms aren't empty. That's where your energy, your instincts, your voice are. That's why sometimes you feel like your life isn't really yours. You're living in the hallway, while all the fullness is locked away in those rooms. Jung said, "The shadow is what you don't want to be, but that's exactly what makes you whole." And to become whole, you don't need to fight. You need to go inside. No fighting, no excuses, no self-flagellation. Just see it. Accept that you get angry. Accept that you want recognition. Accept that you're tired of always being convenient. This isn't weakness. It's the beginning of inner alchemy. In ancient China, alchemists didn't literally turn lead into gold. They worked with the body and the spirit. And the darkest element was called hidden gold. What seems dirty, frightening, or shameful is actually the raw material for transformation. But only if you don't run away from it. Pause for a second and close your eyes. Ask yourself, what have I been hiding inside for so many years? If you dare to see it, you'll gain something most people don't have: power over your own story. If what you're hearing right now resonates with you, if you recognize pieces of yourself in these images, support this video with a like. Not for the numbers, but so that YouTube itself understands this topic matters. And if something stirred inside you, write about it in the comments. No filters, no masks. Maybe your voice is exactly the whisper someone else needs to hear so they won't be afraid of their own shadow. Meeting your shadow doesn't mean defeating it. It means stopping the running. But how? How do you know when the shadow is speaking on your behalf? There's a simple way. The shadow is everything you hate in others but refuse to admit in yourself. Do you get angry when you see someone's arrogance? Maybe you don't allow yourself to feel proud. Do you get irritated when someone demands attention? Maybe you're starving for recognition yourself. Anything that triggers a strong emotional reaction is a projection, a mirror. Like cracks in your own glass. A simple way to see your shadow is to remember someone who really annoys you. Right now. Now ask yourself, what exactly are they doing that I don't allow myself to do? It hurts, but that's the way. There's a parable in Zen Buddhism. A student asked the master, "How do I get rid of my inner demon?" The master replied, "Invite it for tea. Don't kill it, don't drive it away. Get to know it." In one letter, Jung wrote that he saw himself in the basement of his house in a dream. He kept going deeper and deeper until he found himself in an ancient chamber, full of dust and shadows. There he realized, to truly know yourself, you have to go deeper, not higher. So don't expect shadow work to be pretty. It will be real. Here are 3 practices that work just as well as therapy. First, uncensored writing. Write by hand. What do I really feel but never say? Write messily. Write honestly. Don't show it to anyone. Burn it if you're scared, but don't lie to yourself. Second, experiencing a forbidden emotion. Turn off the lights, put on some rhythmic music, let your anger speak, dance your rage out, scream into a pillow, give a voice to that part of you you've always forced to stay silent. Third, the shadow mirror practice. When someone annoys you, don't judge. Ask yourself, what is resonating within me? What am I afraid to see in myself here? This flips your perception upside down. Sometimes, just this one exercise can bring your whole old self crashing down like a house of cards. And then suddenly you'll see, you're not bad, you're not weak, you just didn't know that there's a whole continent living inside you. And yes, it's dark, but at its depths lies your true freedom. Just don't turn your shadow into a cult. It's not a hero, but it is a key to the strength you've been afraid of. At the beginning, I promised you'd learn how the power you've hidden in the shadows can become a source of real transformation. And here's how it happens. In an ancient Greek myth, a hero named Perseus defeated Medusa, a creature whose gaze everyone feared. He didn't fight her head on. He used a mirror to see her reflection, and only then was he able to strike. But do you know what happened next? From the neck of the dead Medusa came not a monster, but Pegasus, the winged horse, a symbol of inspiration and strength of spirit. It's not about Medusa, it's about the shadow. The shadow is everything you're afraid of within yourself. And as long as you turn away from it, it paralyzes you. But as soon as you dare to look, not directly, but through the mirror of awareness, you receive a gift you never had before. Here's what you need to understand. The power you've been hiding isn't dangerous. What's dangerous is not admitting that it's yours. The anger you've been ashamed of is your way of saying, no, a way to protect yourself. The ender you were afraid of is a clue to where your potential is still unrealized. The fear you've been hiding is a compass. It shows you where to go. Everything you've suppressed is still you, just waiting to be refined. If right now you feel a tremor, tightness in your chest, or a sudden quiet inside, that's the beginning of transformation. Not because you got rid of the darkness, but because you let it in and saw that at its very core, there are wings. You wanted to understand how the power you've hidden in the shadows your whole life could become the source of true transformation. Now you know that power isn't somewhere outside, it's within you. Not in the mask, not in the image, but in what you've been turning away from. What you suppressed isn't garbage. It's fuel, it's unrefined gold. It's your wildness, your passion, your boundary, your voice. But this video isn't an answer. It's an invitation to yourself, to honesty, to wholeness that doesn't require you to be perfect. If you want to go further, if you feel like this is just the beginning, subscribe. Because from here on, we're not going down into theory, but into reality. Into shadows, desires, fears, instincts. Into what makes us alive. And if you know someone who's standing in front of the mirror right now, afraid to look inside, share this video with them. Let them know they're not alone. And finally, leave a mark. Not just a comment, but a phrase, a word, a thought. What resonated with you? What started to stir inside? What can no longer be hidden? Let this be your first step. Because sometimes a single honest line can become the door through which the light enters. Thank you for being here, for not being afraid, for staying. See you where the shadow becomes a wing. See you in the next video. And remember, you don't just perceive the world, you create it.